you could see yourself in my eyes, you'd see you shine, you shine. I know you'd never leave me behind. I am lost this time. Are we destined to burn, or will we last the night? I will hold you till I hold you right. If only you could see yourself in my eyes.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Morning Coffee with your host, Rick Alexander. If you guys want to connect with me, you can follow me on Instagram at @RickAlexander_ or at LionHeartRadio. Today, I want to talk to you about something that is quite honestly pretty tough to get your mind around. I think what I'd ask is that you approach this idea with an open mind and just see if you think it could be true. I've talked about this a little bit on here before, but I have a way of going about learning new things in life. And it's something that's changed my life in some pretty profound ways. And to give credit where credit is due, I learned this idea from Mike Bledsoe when I had him on the show. The idea is that if you hear something that you think might be beneficial in your life or is for some reason intriguing, then you take a couple weeks and act as if that thing is true. Think about it throughout your day and then try to assess whether or not it feels right for your life. Sometimes we can just hear something that may or may not ever help us out, but if we don't ever try to embody that knowledge, it's hard to figure out whether or not it's actually helpful in any way. There's quite a big difference between knowing something intellectually and then making that intelligence somatic, like really embodying the intelligence. What I've learned is that with this thought experiment in general, it allows you to go through your life seeing where it might apply, and that's really what you need to do with new information if you want to maximize its impact on your life. So the thought is this. You are always controlling the volume at which you experience this life. And I think to set this point up properly, we need to establish some other baselines for life, because I know how wild that thought might be without any kind of context. So I think first you have to ask yourself a question, and that is, what are you doing here in the first place? I mean, I believe firmly that no one really knows, but I don't think that should stop us from speculating. Like, one of the things that I believe is that we're here to learn. And I also do believe that each of us have a thing in this life that we came here to do. And honestly, most of the growth in our life stems from just trying to undo who the world taught us to be so that we might figure out who we're here to be. But I also believe that each of us, in the depth of who we are, know what that purpose is. The question is, can we stop living out of our ego long enough to figure that out? But either way, the lessons that we go through, the ups and the downs, the struggles, they're all teaching us a lesson. I do believe we can learn lessons both through love and hate, but for whatever reason, in this world, hate, unfortunately, seems to be our default setting. But the way that I know that is this. Answer this question for yourself. If you could thank any 3 people from your past, who would they be? I'll let you think about that for a minute, but chances are that one of those people have caused you a significant amount of pain. And this is because although it sucked at the time, whatever it is that you've gone through, it's helped forge who you are today. And I know when you're in tough times, the idea that it's helpful is a pretty damn unhelpful thing to hear. But the reality is that we all know it's true. The broader point here is that you contributed to every single facet of your life. We make ourselves out to be the victim sometimes because, quite honestly, it's much easier for our psyche to handle. It's easier for our conscious ego to deal with if we put the onus on someone else. But the truth here is that with every decision you're making, you're authoring your life, and with that realization, you come to understand that you're controlling the volume at which you experience life. Sometimes we learn lessons in such a subtle manner that we don't even realize we've learned them until the experience is long past. But sometimes we find ourselves right in the thick of things. At times, adversity, pain, heartache, or stress feels like it's going to tear us apart at the seams. In those moments, you're learning something big. I can promise you that. And you must never discount the role that your higher self plays in your actions, because the truth is that there's a part of you that is deeper than the part of you that's listening to this and thinking about it. There's a part of you that always knows what's best. And just because you can't always access that part of you doesn't mean it's not there. Truthfully, that's one of the hardest parts of adversity or pain in the first place, or facing those things. Your ego and your protective mechanisms get thrust into overdrive, and they drown out the voice of the soul. And so the world in that moment can feel more lonely and cruel. But don't forget that pain is a function of the human experience, and like every other part of this experience, it's temporary. But eventually you'll get back to you, and you'll realize the importance of what you've gone through. And you'll realize that some part of you never actually lost control of the situation, that you made a whole lot of decisions that got you to where you were. And I really do believe that you have to trust in your ability to know the right answer and act on what you know to be true. And as a side note, it's worth mentioning that while I know I'm presenting this as if it's easy, that's more of a function of this monologue than experiential truth. Trusting in who you are and that you know what's best is really damn difficult. And honestly, probably the actual hallmark of adulthood. Like looking around and realizing that no one around you has all of the answers. And this kind of gets me out of the negative part and into the positive part of this message. The negative situations we go through certainly help shape us, but when you decide to act as if you control the volume and intensity of your own life, you realize the incredible freedom that you have to make your life exactly what you want it to be. Sometimes we get so into the victim mentality, and I'm absolutely including myself in this message, that we don't understand that we have the power to change what's around us. But listen, whatever the quality of your life is currently, look around it, understand and accept that it is really nothing more than the cumulative result of every decision you've ever made. And then, and this is the key, don't accept that and pass judgment on yourself for what your life is or what it's been. You accept that so you finally have the damn power to change it. You aren't stuck or fixed. If you want to change the dial and experience this life at a different frequency, then you have to accept the choices you've made and then start making radically different ones. Judging yourself for that, though, doesn't change anything. Do bad things happen to us that we find ourselves at the mercy of? Well, yeah, I mean, it certainly feels that way sometimes. But truthfully, they happen for us, and at the end of the day, you control that experience and the quality of that experience with the quality of your thoughts and your decisions. And that's because your thoughts and decisions are the mechanism for changing the volume. If you accept this to be true, you accept the ability to change your life, and I would love that for you. So do yourself a favor and at least think about whether or not it might be true. You're in control and always have been. Love y'all. Let's chat tomorrow on Morning Coffee.
It feels so far away. I'm calling every day. Do you hear me? Where you're gone, I wanna know. Plunge the spade deep in the soul, so you'll be near me. Oh, I love to mark the grave and set the name in one stone. Hey, yeah,
As I grind up these remnants, breathe it in, blow it out to the emptiness. I act on love, but sometimes my love is the deadliest. I feel the mood change when the high hits and these lights dim. These people are strange, I'm a stranger, storm riding. She loves the shade below these leaves, her body lays beneath this tree. I placed a grave, replaced her moon with winds of rain, and now she's mine. Forevermore she sleeps beneath my garden. When flowers grow from bloody soil, it makes them ultraviolet, my love.